Said, you know what it is.
Hey everybody, what's rocking with the spinner rack? I'm here with the crew, Petey and Cal. Once again, say hello everybody.
Hello.
Ready to rock, people. How's it going?
Hey, so today we're talking about that infamous interview done by Alex Ross. If you go to Alex Ross's channel on YouTube, you'll be able to find it, where he said that he was involved in a Star Wars Superman mashup story, and it was almost done. Man, I don't know if I could, of course, it's coming from the horse's mouth, but God, dog, do you think this project ever would have seen the light of day? I'm going to pass it to my boy, Cal. Pal, come on, as a Superman guy, tell me, is this even real? Would it have been Superman Star Wars or Star Wars Superman?
It would have been Superman Star Wars, at least on the first issue. If it was more than one issue, DC would have definitely made sure of that, or something along the lines of DC Universe meets Star Wars. Or would have just had a title. But the bigger thing is, this guy had the chance to interview Alex Ross about. Did you see the art, the page he was talking about, where Superman's grabbing the lightsaber?
Yes.
Okay, so that's circulated around the net. It's caused a whole, it caused a whole bunch of debate. Would a lightsaber be able to cut Superman? All this other type of stuff. And would
Superman
be able to survive the hit from the Death Star? And
of course he wouldn't.
Huh?
Of course he would have been cut in half by the lightsaber, and of course he would have died with the Death Star. But keep on going. Your points are very interesting.
Yeah, you're spouting malarkey over here. Look, let's just do the show and not antagonize me, okay? So that being said, for the record, no lightsaber is going to cut Superman, and no, Death Star is not going to hurt him either. That being said, this guy had the opportunity to speak with Alex Ross about the ideas, maybe some of the plot or some of the, what they were planning on doing, and he just let it go. He didn't follow up with that at all. The fact that you had something, Star Wars is not crossed over with any of the comic universes to that extent. We've had crossovers with Green Lantern and the Planet of the Apes. So it's not like, wild crossovers don't happen. But, even with Marvel, there were never any crossovers with the Star Wars universe, or to the best of my knowledge, if anything happened, it was so tangential. But right over here, like, okay, well, why don't you let us know a little bit more about it? No. And Alex Ross was there. He was like, hey, I can talk to you about it for 2 hours. The guy was like, nah, who wants to hear about that?
All right. That's enough of that, because
thank you for saving that, Petey, because I was going down a hole.
Think of it like this. I'm going to go to Alex Ross's site, and basically, let's say this is from his book, his new book called Unseen. Alex Ross has a book of all of sort of projects that he was, either pitching or interested in working on that didn't sort of happen. So he putting out a book called Unseen. Let me see if I can get a image of that. Who's writing? I can't. They keep sending me messages. So that's the start of it. And of course, kitties, stop with the noise. All right, so let's get this book out here. There we go. I'm gonna have to use this pop culture thing. Sorry for the delay.
Are you sorry? Are you really sorry?
Not really. But here we can use the FireWire Pop Culture blog, and they have this book called Alex Ross Unseen, art book, right? We have these cool images. I had the one up already, but you also have some other images outside of that of Star Wars and Star Trek. Like, look at that. You have some stuff of the actually the ones we've seen in film, painted, some classic stuff of the Nicholas Hammond.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Hold on. Go back.
That,
yeah, right there. Superman, Spider-Man, that's cool. That's really cool.
No, it's not. I don't like the look of that at all.
Nobody asked you anything.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, go down your own rabbit hole now. Nobody asked you anything.
Look at Doom right here. Look at this nice shot of Doom.
Wait, what the heck does Doom have on him?
Isn't that you had on?
That's not cool.
He's
either.
going for the what's the name, for the one of those creatures that was in the Flash Gordon. He's kind of giving it that effect, because they were trying to do Doom, and he's kind of adding both. And there's Diablo in the back, and here's kind of go a little more Kirby on the outfits. Whereas Kirby actually was trying to draw clothing, but he kind of, he what do they call it? He had a style for everything, and even the squiggles, but he kind of literalized even that. So here's some other effects, some nice cool stuff. Hey, look at that. Here we go, the two men next to each other.
Yeah, I wonder why they're next to each other. Maybe there was an actual story behind it, Maybe? No, the two of them are just there.
But this, Alex Ross said in that interview, which is on his site, on his YouTube site. I guess I can go to that. Let's see, Alex. He actually says that it were close to. There was Dark Horse and obviously Lucasfilm talking about it. It was very close. So if it didn't actually happen before the sale of Star Wars and all that stuff, they were actually talking about doing that. So if you it's something I think everyone should sort of pick up. I'm gonna still. You want to piggyback on this? We can get into the actual what some of the tidbits he did in his interview, which was interesting too. But that's the overview of what he was talking about. Sorry about that. Let's keep going.
Yeah, but I mean, we think that this is probably one of the most unlikely things that would have happened, especially now that Marvel has taken over Star Wars. There's no way they would allow such a pristine, upstanding title of Star Wars to be. It just couldn't happen, bro. It's just
you need to knock it off.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's like
stop it.
I mean, you can see.
A fight. We're trying to do a show here. You're picking a fight. I'm letting you know.
I'm not picking no fight. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm calling it like I see it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Remember.
You know,
I mean, be reasonable.
I'm being very reasonable. Petey, am I dissing anybody? You know,
went a little far when they were actually, Dark Horse was doing crossovers. So obviously, Star Wars they were doing. I mean, the sales were decent for Dark Horse. Why wouldn't they do a crossover like all the other crossovers that Dark Horse was doing? Like, come on, it's not really that crazy an idea.
I think it is. I think it's a very big craziness, if you ask me. I mean, it's like it kind of reminds me of like Archie meets the Punisher. What the heck? You know what I'm trying to say?
Did you read that?
I didn't read it, but because the idea was ridiculous.
It was good.
The idea was what?
You should read it. It was good.
Now look,
we can see whose ideas are these crazy mashups. I mean, I think wasn't there like not Batman or Superman Power Rangers mashup? Was that good too? Did you read that?
That was Justice League Power Rangers.
You know, and I think there was Predators and Archie.
Wait. No,
I'm saying that's nuts. I wouldn't read any of that stuff. It's you're mashing universes, and Star Wars stands alone. Do you understand me? Star Wars stands alone.
That's
Star Wars fan. You're not going to let that rock. You know what I'm trying to say? You're not going to have a whole universe that's generated billions and billions of dollars, had hundreds and hundreds of characters, thousands of stories to bring in. No.
You're saying they would be above a crossover? Those people, after how many prequels? How many making the soup so thin? That's what you're trying to say? The soup is already thin. We finally got some substance in The Mandalorian, and you got 9 films. You got the Ewoks. Which one? What one was he saying that kind of pushed you out and saying they couldn't do a crossover?
First of all, that's not a crossover. That's within world. Okay. Number 2, yes, the expanded universe, the legendary universe of Star Wars, yes, they had great stories, and they did drop that for the new expanded stuff that they're doing, okay? But guess what, my friend? Guess what, my brother? Guess what? They're bringing it back in. They brought Thrawn in. They brought Ahsoka in. They're bringing everything back because this is how it's going to be, all right? They're bringing stuff in from the game, from the video games. So you know what? The Star Wars world is becoming whole once again, and they won't sully it with any other thing. So you need to stop. Go back where you come from. Both of you step
all right,
off.
I'm gonna go to the Archie Predator in the 90s.
No, we're not talking about madness. That's crazy stuff. We're not going to talk about madness.
The Predator didn't want to sully themselves with Archie, but Archie was game to do it, and they solicited John Byrne to do Predator Archie, and the Dark Horse said no. And then of course when the comic book industry is struggling, they're like, hey, remember that idea? We're down for it now. And it was successful. It was a fun series. It was a nice, silly series.
A good number that the crossovers work when people understand both properties, okay? And the only feasible way that it would work for these properties to ever meet. Otherwise, it's a waste. It's really a waste.
It's a waste. That's what I say. It's a waste.
So if you read Archie and the Punisher, if you read Archie and the Predator, those were great stories because Archie is still Archie. The Predator is still the Predator. The Punisher. It's still the Punisher, but it works because they're able to find that Venn diagram of space. Okay, that Venn diagram of space where the two of these guys could overlap for this period, for just this story, and that's it. You know, and then we can just go, and then everything can go back to the way that it was for Archie and for the Predator and for the Punisher. So crossing over isn't an issue. And for all of your malarkey over here about keeping your universe clean, if there was enough money, okay, trust me, they would do it. They would do it. They would have Luke Skywalker on the Justice League. Okay, they would have Luke Skywalker with the Legion of Superheroes with a flight ring.
Oh, so that's how you want to go. You want to talk about, yo, Petey, we got to change the...
No, the name is not going to be there. Don't worry. I'm not going live. I'm not going live.
So I just want to say, bro, Star Wars doesn't have to pimp itself. It's the other way around. Star Wars is the hot property. Star Wars is the A side, baby.
You're kidding me.
Superman is the B side. Heck no, man.
When they re-released all those movies and decided to add extra footage and decided to tweak stuff with the new tech, that wasn't pimping, right? Oh no, it wasn't pimping.
No,
that was big pimping.
No, that was vision. He had a vision. He couldn't use the technology at the time, and so that's what he did. That's what he said.
The ending of Return of the Jedi. He took Darth Vader out, okay, and he put Christian Haydenson in as a Darth Vader. That's not pimping. Oh, come on.
Again, the man had a vision. We've talked to this many times. The creators have vision.
They had a Star Wars Christmas special. That wasn't pimping?
That was early on. But as a kid, I liked it.
That doesn't count. It doesn't count.
It's a Christmas special for Star Wars?
Yo, that doesn't count.
Out there in the galaxy?
That was different. That's different. And there haven't been Christmas specials for Superman? Come on, give me a break. Look, all I'm just saying is that you're going down the wrong road here, and I'm just telling you right now that this is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay? No, it's not going to happen.
Let's go back to look at the metaverse. Look at that. Look at that nice picture.
I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars.
This is from
but they need to be kept separate.
Oh my God.
They shouldn't be together.
Look at this. This is even in action. You see the Star Wars characters coming and helping out while they're finding this out. This is a cool moment.
They're materializing
No, it's not
cool. And look at Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like, I didn't sense this disturbance in the Force.
Gentlemen, we digress considerably from where we were supposed to go.
No, this is the good stuff here.
No, this is not the good stuff. We're not talking about that at all, okay?
Look at Vader. Vader looks like he's got a little bit more than he can handle right over here. He's like, what?
You think phasers can stop?
No, he's going up against somebody he's never faced before. James Tiberius Kirk, okay, who never says die, and Kirk doesn't lose. So what's Vader?
Dude, all Vader has to use the Force and just pushes him to the side, and it's a wrap. Take away his phaser, he doesn't have anything else to rock with, okay?
Nope, he thought he was going to do. He thought he was going to come over and slap Kirk around. Kirk was like, I think I got a piece of pipe for you to solve this particular problem.
Dude, it doesn't make sense, bro.
Darth Vader is nothing less than Kobayashi Maru.
No, it's not. It's not even close to it. It's not even close to it, okay? Look. First of all, you have their A squad there. They don't have the A squad with Darth Vader, just Darth Vader, because he doesn't need a squad. Darth Vader could wipe them all.
You're like, Scotty, this guy seems to have some sort of ability I'm not familiar with. Here's what you're going to do. Time it. Materialize me now. Bang! And then Vader's going to be like, oh, impressive. Okay, Scotty, materialize him out there in space. We did it. We did it.
We digress once again. Gentlemen, move on to the points. Petey, push this forward again. Okay?
This Word Brood podcast, which is actually on Alex Ross's YouTube site.
Yes, on his YouTube site.
Check it out. Yes, we didn't get the full story of what he was planning on it, but there's some cool stuff in here, and it gets a lot of Alex Ross's art. One of the other things, here's the Fantastic Four stuff he was thinking about doing, which
I love Alex Ross's art, but you know, some of these mashups are just not cool, bro.
This is he's trying to get the Curry effect into the costume. So it's kind of some cool stuff, but I don't think it's kind of like metal type thing, but it's nice sort of fun stuff that you can look at that didn't actually happen regretfully.
That's really cool. Hold on, no, go back for a second.
Back to that.
Yeah, go back. That's really cool because You see how they got the undergarments
Yeah.
underneath the uniforms, which most people would have never thought that they were actual. This is like how you actually wear a uniform. You have the undergarment. Okay, you probably have some, undershirt, undergarments, that type of stuff, and then the uniform over. So it's a fun. It's not a superhero costume. It's not a superhero costume. These guys, this is an actual uniform. Okay, but these guys are like, I don't want to say they're professional adventurers, but this is something that always separated the Fantastic Four for me from the rest of the superhero community. Like these guys were like supposed to be the pros at this sort of thing. They weren't just putting on suits because they got powers or something. These guys were the professionals. So when you saw the Fantastic Four, you knew you were in good hands at the end of the day. The only one here that I don't really care for is Ben Grimm with the boxer shorts. But aside of that, nice stuff.
So he does. There's another one. No, where is that? Another cool thing that's going to be in this Unseen book, because he decided just to do a bunch of pictures for this, and you get to see some of his really nice effects in here for the title. But then one of the things I found interesting, outside of you're seeing some of the stuff I'm scanning by, was it feels like these two guys are the only people that watch the Superman TV show with me, because they were talking about, because something that Byrne brings up a couple of times about how George Reeves, Clark Kent, was a little more go-getter, and they sort of bring that up, but they go even further, like he's ordering around cops, stuff like that. And then I recently watched it, and I was like, wait a second, there's moments where Clark is with Lois, and he does like this. Lois, I have to, he's cleaning his glasses, and he puts them back on, and I'm just like, they're totally saying, you believe that these are two separate guys, and not, it's just so much fun in that TV show. There's so many.
How could it be fun, Petey? There was never any semblance that there was a different character. Only he put on a different character. He didn't act different. Not like Dean Cain or.
Point was trying to figure it out, but there's points where what's the name? Where Clark Kent would like, I gotta fight. He'd take his glasses off and start fighting with the suit, and then he's running Jimmy and Lois like, Mr. Kent. He's like, no, I gotta go fight these guys. No, Mr. Kent, you can't fight all of them.
Right, but I'm saying there was no different character, unlike
it's just fun saying at that point when I was watching it, I didn't even barely know. I was just like, oh, this is just fun.
Where's the secret identity, buddy? Where's the secret identity?
You're cynical. You got to go back to being a kid and have fun.
But this was less about being a kid. There were a couple of different factors. One, the majority of the people who were watching the show weren't readers of the comic book. Okay. The audience that this was pulling in, these were not comic book readers for the most part. And that's been a standard as long as I've known. Because a lot of people will watch, say, The Flash. They don't read the comic book. They have no idea what's going on inside of the comic book. These are almost two separate, they really are two separate universes at the end of the day. Two, George Reeves was not going to play Clark Kent like he was played in the comics. Had already been established in more than one book that I've read. He was not going to do that. His Clark Kent was marginally different than Superman at the end of the day, but he was not. He already said he was not going to play Clark Kent the way he was in the comic. He was not going to do that. So that's where you have at the end of the thing. Were they at the end of the day? Were they different? Slightly at the end, very slightly. And then I think with for a kid and for an adult, if you have a scene where Clark is taking off his glasses, cleaning them in front of Lois, and putting them back on, as a kid, you've got to be saying, "Oh wow, he was so lucky. She looked up just at the right time when he put those glasses back on." Or you're giggling when he's like, "Mr. Kent, you can't fight those guys." And you're like, "Oh yes, he can. Go ahead, Clark." However, as someone who got to experience both the George Reeves show and what Christopher Reeve did inside of Superman 2, it's always so hard. I hate to be put in a position or to put somebody else in a position where which one was better. I've always leaned towards the Christopher Reeve stuff because I've always believed that Clark Kent and Superman need to be distinct personalities. Otherwise, it does take away something. It does take something away from the dynamic overall. But a lot of people grew up with that George Reeves show and they enjoyed it. So that's what Clark Kent is going to be for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to watch because I've watched it passively, and I think in the 90s, and it's just interesting because also the respect that the people in the show, they didn't, because I mean, even in the comic, there's parts where early on in the Golden Age where Clark Kent takes action. There's other times we get stuff stuffed in his face. But it was interesting how they wrote it, where Clark is a respected reporter and that sort of thing, rather than go. And then he, of course, has moments where he says, "Oh, we got a Superman. You got to save Clark Kent. He's drowning in the ocean." And Superman's like, "It's okay. All right. You want me to do it now? I'll do it now." And then Clark Kent comes, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm okay." And then they're like, "Hey, you weren't here while Superman was here." And then he does something silly, like throws her in the water. And he's like, "There's no chance you could be Superman." it's just sort of like fun show. But anyway, going back to Alex Ross, it's a really nice book. It's obviously, if you're a fan of Alex Ross and you've got his Marvel, those mythology and the Marvel books, and he has like 3 sort of titles out. The Kurt Busiek Marvel Snapshots. He has Marvel, which is sort of the original plan that he wanted to do for Marvels, where it was just sort of doing an anthology in painted form of Marvel stories or new Marvel stories. And he also has, I think it's another book, which is it's a Marvel's X. There's Marvel's X. So you had the interview that's on Alex Ross's site from the Word Balloon. It gets into some interesting thing. It doesn't give you all the tidbits. So, I mean, it is, as Cal said, he said he was ready to talk about this, and we didn't get to hear all that bit. But maybe it could still happen. But I mean, I think it's a gorgeous book, unseen by Alex Ross.
I think it's a gorgeous looking book too. I think that people should go out, true Alex Ross fans should go out there and grab it. I know it's something we definitely are interested in getting. I know a friend of mine who's definitely will love it, but he likes everything Alex Ross. But some of these story ideas, I don't think they'll ever see the light of day. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Cal. Sorry about that, PD.
I don't need to see the light of day. Just tell me what you were going to do.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Okay, spin around.
Out. You